So good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Stu. Good morning, Greta.
How's
So
everybody?
a
Hanging in
little
there.
cold, right?
Yeah, well, as you can see, I'm outside and bundled up because we didn't know that they were coming today to work on the drywall, which is
Oh,
very loud in my house. So here I am. And I don't do cold weather very well. It's not really cold, it's just windy.
it is cold. It is cold up here anyway.
Yeah,
It's
I
still
know.
like 54.
So a couple of things. Today is our last in the zone until 2024
That's right.
because we have Christmas and New Year, and we won't come back to the zonies until the turn of the year. Can you believe it?
January 8th. I know.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But with the turn of the year, there's so many amazing things happening in the veteran entrepreneurship space throughout the state of Florida. Which is why we wanted to have our friend Greta from St. Pete College and Stu from FAVOB, Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses, on today. Rosie, you want to talk a little bit about Veterans Florida and all the partnerships?
Oh my goodness. Thanks for putting me on this spot. Yes, I'm happy to. This is never scripted, folks, as you know. And when you talk about this being the last episode for 2023, we've been doing this since March of 2020. We've been every Monday morning. There are very few times that we have not done it, but every Monday morning we come on and talk to all of our peeps, all of our zonies. We call them zonies, Greta and Stu. They're our zonies. So Veterans Florida is a nonprofit created by the state of Florida to create avenues for funding in various capacities to support veterans. They have the Skill Bridge program, which I think is their most recent one. They have an incredible agricultural program. They have career source support, veteran in every career source office in the state. They have grants, matching grants to employers who hire veterans, and training grants should they need to train them for a certain, maybe they need another certification, or they need a little bit of extra. They're great on paper, they just need a little bit extra. That's what the legislature funds, and that comes through Veterans Florida. We've been happily been a Veterans Florida network partner since June of 2020 or 2018. And I'll let Stu and Greta explain their relationship to them, but we'll put the link to their website and the entrepreneurship resources that are available there, as well as everything else that you can look in there. It's really a great avenue. The legislature did a great job of creating this so that they had one central source for disseminating information and resources for veterans in Florida.
Yeah. And with the entrepreneurship program, it's really expanded over the last couple of years, or since we've been involved with them, 2018. And they have various network partners around the state. And we invited all of them to come today, but of course 9 a.m. on a Monday morning is hard for some folks. So we're really excited that Greta and Stu were able to join us. But they have a network partner in Pensacola, right, Rosie?
Yes.
Pensacola, Jacksonville,
Boca Raton,
Florida Gulf Coast, which is in Naples.
Yeah, we see you.
Then that's the only, we're missing some.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Well, anyway, we'll put the link so you can go to you can go to the website and you can find the network partner that's closest to you. You can take advantage of one or many of the network partners. We were really excited this year when St. Pete College became a partner. You guys, we've had Greta on before because those of us in Tampa Bay know that that bridge is definitely a very physical barrier. So
Literally.
now we have a partner on the Pinellas side of the bridge to reach out to the veterans. So Stu, as the CEO of Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses, why don't you tell our audience a little bit, well, first about you, about FAVOB, and then how your partnership with Veterans Florida works.
Certainly. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. I was excited when I saw the email and certainly appreciate being involved and being able to present what FAVOB's all about. So yes, we are a Veterans Florida funded partner. I put in my endorsement last year, we could not do what we do without Veterans Florida funding. So remember, these are your tax dollars at work. And this is enabling veterans at no cost to attend education, the SkillBridge program, and other programs that Rosie mentioned this morning. So Valerie, thanks very much for the invite. As a Veterans Florida partner, what's really cool about the partnership and the folks on the call is we all have respect for each other and we stay in our lane, right? We do the things that we do well and we leverage what others do better than we do. So the Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses is in 5 markets: Tampa Bay, Orlando, Space Coast, Jacksonville, and Pensacola. And what we do really, really well is we are the networking arm of entrepreneurship. And so when you're up and running and your business is generating revenue and you're looking for another opportunity to network with folks and connect with folks and be able to leverage new opportunities, Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses is a place that you do that. And we host at least one no-cost networking event per month in each of the markets. And that's what Veterans Florida does for us. It enables us to, maybe buy a breakfast drink or, a cup of coffee or a cocktail in the evening or something at lunch that allows folks to come and network and connect with each other. One of our really cool partnerships that's coming up, well, actually, it's actually started down in the Miami area. We partnered with another Veterans Florida organization, Julo Strategies, and we went down into that market and just talked about the opportunities that Veterans Florida provides through Julo Strategies with a startup growth and a CEO mindset program. And we're doing the same thing in the Pensacola area in January. So January the 18th, location to be determined, but we know the date. We've invited some folks to come to that. And again, no cost opportunities. These are sponsored education opportunities for veteran-owned businesses in those 2 markets, wherever they're at, just starting, growing, or becoming the CEO that we know we need to do in order to run our business. So lots of exciting things going on with FAVOB, lots of exciting things going on with Veterans Florida. So Valerie, thanks for the opportunity.
Uh-oh, you owe me money.
I know. I put myself on mute. I'm outside and I hear vehicles. I don't know if y'all can hear them, but I hear them very loudly. So yeah, we appreciate here in the Tampa Bay area being a collaborative partner with FAVOB, with the monthly networking events. It's hard for Action Zone because of where Rosie and I live to go to the morning breakfast. But we live quite a ways from Tampa, but the evening events have been great. And, Kashima Garcia has been representing Action Zone at those events. So it's great. Yeah, Pete did an amazing job the last 2 years, leading the Tampa chapter, and he's being replaced by an Action Zone alumni, Shirley Baez, who we love and adore. She has so much energy and she's just, she's a goal setter and she reaches them.
Yes, she does.
It's been awesome to watch her flourish and grow.
I want to say something about what Stu said, though, and because it's really important. It's not evident in all markets, but one of the things that's really great about Tampa Bay is that we are all collaborative and we all don't try to do everything. This was a big deal 5 or 6 years ago when Mission United tried to come in and get everyone to collaborate more. FAVOB is the king at networking events. We don't want to do those. We're happy to let FAVOB do those networking events. Action Zone is the startup education. That's what we're really good at. So they feed us those people. It's just really important. And now in St. Pete, the same thing. We've got people that don't want to come in Tampa because they're in St. Pete, or they don't want to go to St. Pete because they're in Tampa. And now we have a better circle of people that we can refer to. We've been referring students in the veterans in the educational programs, entrepreneurship educational programs, since 2018 to other network partners. And that's the joy of this network, is that we are all collaborative and we all work together. And it's not get your hands off of my entrepreneur, right? Like it used to be.
Yeah.
So how do we get a St. Pete chapter then, Stu?
So great question, Greta. So one thing that I've learned over the 18 months that I have been leading this organization is we've kind of set up some artificial boundaries with this idea of a chapter and chapter leadership and the structure that, comes with chambers or associations and whatever the case may be. So the approach for 2024 is if I have 4 to 6 focused veteran-owned businesses in any area who wants to start doing networking, wants to host a networking event. And people know this term. So you can think of FABOB as your shared service. So if you have 4 or 6 folks and you say, hey, listen, I would love to get us together and start networking. We want to be complementary to each other. So we want to find what we refer to as natural partners, those doing business with the same customer base, but we don't compete with each other. So a perfect example is like an insurance agent and a realtor, or a painter and a realtor. And then when you get into the middle market, you've got somebody working in the government contracting space and somebody on the commercial supplier diversity space. So they're not competing with each other. But if we can get 4 to 6 folks to do that, you can leverage FABOB to do your marketing, to do your registration, to show you how to successfully do a networking event, right? It's more than just bringing people together and having a cup of coffee and just kind of wandering around the conversation about, right? You need to understand how to do your elevator speech, what your value proposition is, what is a call for action? How do you actually network? And then post event, how do you do that work? How do you connect with folks on social media platforms and message people with help, not with a handout? And that's an important thing. So if you're just pushing your business card, or you're grabbing all their business cards, and as soon as you get away from the networking event, you're calling and say, hey, I would love to sell you my, shirt, right? Or logo product. That's not going to get you very far.
Because that never happens.
Yeah. Oh, no, never. Even though we say don't do it, we continue to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I can, and you can contact me at CEO@fabob.org. And like I said, if I can get 4 to 6 veterans in any place, because I live on the Space Coast, and we've got the same natural barriers, right? People over on the beach side where I live are always like, don't make me go to the mainland, right? don't make me cross the bridge. And so we see organizing in smaller groups. So you start with 4 to 6, and then all of a sudden that becomes 10, and then 15, and then you've got a good FABOB group in the St. Petersburg area or St. Pete's area versus just Tampa. So thanks for the question.
You got it. And then we just, so I think Valerie and Rosie already know, we have a accelerator opening in this year, and that'll be in Tarpon Springs. So North County doesn't seem to get love, our North Pinellas County, because Pinellas County is so large. So that would be Tarpon Springs, even merging into Pasco. There's a Pasco County line, Pinellas. Our college is right on like the Pasco Pinellas County line, and there's a lot of veteran businesses in Pasco. So I totally see something happening, and we'll welcome them in to they can come. It'll be an accelerator because it's more for businesses that are already starting. So there's obviously there'll be ideation. We were talking, but I'll send the ideating people to Action Zone. How about that for the training? And so I guess that's what we're doing at SPC is we don't know what our niche is going to be yet. This is going to be a regular, I have an 8-week cohort starting in January, and it's going to be a typical 8-week cohort, but we don't know what's going to happen after that. It could be that from those businesses that emerge, we could be a different level. So definitely going to be working with Action Zone and Florida through Veterans Florida. We just received the grant, and just trying to see then where do we fit? What are we? Are we the, same kind of thing? I don't want to duplicate what Action Zone is doing, but definitely working together, and we will be working together to make everybody more efficient. So we're lucky to be a part of all this.
Yeah, and vice versa. We when we formed Action Zone, it was with the intent to be a feeder into other programs. Get them through the ideation, the butterflies, being able to actually articulate what their business idea is, not necessarily their pitch or the elevator speech, but just being able to say, this is my business idea. Because when a lot of early stage founders, when they're in that ideation stage, they don't know how to, they don't know the vocabulary,
Right.
right? That the entrepreneurial
They don't have like the
vocabulary.
business acumen. They don't even know what
Yeah.
to say, or the
Right.
difference simply between revenue and profit. I go out and ask these students, hey, are you generating any revenue? And they're like, well, I haven't made any profit. Well, okay, but there's a difference. And here's the lesson. That's where I come in. I'm the professor.
Right.
Woo, here comes Professor Greta. Do you want to know what a supply chain is?
Well, and
Yeah.
that is key. That was our goal when we started Action Zone, and that has been the one thing that we have held constant to and won't change.
Right.
Because as we said before, it's supposed to be a collaborative. As an entrepreneur, you're supposed to be collaborative, and there is no competition amongst these organizations, because we all know our place, we all know where we're experts, and we all know where we've seen results. So we just keep doing that. Mission creep is such a horrible thing for new businesses. They try to do too much too fast, and then they don't do anything very well. So yeah, it's really important that.
And they're not open to like, I want to bring up FAVOB. I love what you do then, Stu, because I was just at a big chamber event this last week, and that's what they are. They're all about who is the coolest person and who gets but here's the good news. When we were cleaning up last week, there was a moment where the whole group of volunteers where I volunteered were cleaning up, and some bigwigs were doing something. I actually got to talk to some of the chamber folks, and they had no idea what we do at St. Pete College. I'm like, we're literally 2 doors down. We're on Central 2nd Avenue North in St. Pete. They're 2 doors down. We have all these partnerships, and here's the students are, now they're like, well, do you have this class, that class, adults, veterans? So some tides are changing a little. I felt pretty good that the chambers out on the beach. We have a lot of beaches in this area. Those chambers are changing. They're starting to have more young professional groups, but I could see a veteran group forming from this. I can totally see a veteran group, and we'll work with you. We'll coming from the chamber. These are younger, and I can say young because I'm old now. My kids think I'm 90, 100 years old. Okay, born in the last century. That makes us ancient, Rosie. I'm sorry. I'm coming up on almost 55. I get my 55 Village Inn breakfast now. So, but they think we're ancient. But we got this group of 28 to 38-year-olds who are just hitting it. They're helping businesses, and they're hearing. They're actually listening to the businesses now, and the businesses are tired of the 300. You get 300 business cards at a mixer, someone shoving them in your pocket, and they're tired of that. They want more focused, more, I have a business and I need help, and I start generating revenue, and I want to keep my business. So I'm seeing more of that. So this is a perfect time.
What's also really fascinating is you would think with all the focus on social entrepreneurship, which is an incredible thing. I'm not dissing that at all. Ooh, I said a young word, dissing. I'm sorry. I don't even really know what that word means.
Just as long as you don't say Riz.
Talking about how old we all are.
You're not allowed to say Riz. Riz is, you can't say that. The number one word. So
okay. One thing that's really interesting though is that coming out of whether community college or a 4-year degree, they're not all going into tech. They're still looking at Main Street businesses, the ones that support the citizens and the other businesses in the community.
Quality of life businesses, as actually the term.
Yeah. It's just, it's really interesting that, there's a fair share of them, of course, but they're definitely in the minority. We've had 15 cohorts in Activate, and I don't know, I think 5 in Incubate, and I can probably count on less than 2 hands how many of them are in tech.
Right.
For government
it's refreshing to know that these quality of life or Main Street businesses are perpetuating, because those are the ones that really support the communities.
We need them in downtown St. Pete. I don't know if you know, Stu, we're building high rises to hold hundreds of people. There's one salon downtown. I think is cool. I think one salon. I'm not kidding. And maybe 1 or 2 gyms, small gyms. Yeah, we're definitely lacking in that. So I'm hoping that this cohort that I start in January will have some folks that want to do something. We have coffee shops and stuff. We have plenty of those, but I think that's something to look forward to. And they're the ones that need the most help, because they're the ones that, we say, start lean, start lean. What can you do right now? Well, that's great. But if you have to order, 400 bags of coffee to even open your door, and you don't have that money, there's definitely going to be, I've got a challenge ahead of me, because I got a challenge. I'm scared.
But you're
It
very
starts in
well
like
equipped
3
for that
weeks.
challenge, Greta.
Valerie's going to go through it. Valerie has to go. Hey, it's filling up. I told Rosie, so it's filling up. So if people are listening and they're interested in jumping, that cohort is the 15th. It'll start on that Tuesday. The 16th is the Tuesday. It's in the evening, 6 to 8, downtown St. Pete. Rosie, feel free to give my email out. And I put the survey link. I'll send you the survey link, and it's filling up. I've gotten 4 applications yesterday. So I kind of had this feeling, as the people were getting ready to start celebrating the holiday, that it's time to get started on their business, that we would start. And sure enough, that's what I'm seeing. So
Greta, and this is same for you as well, Stu. A lot of times after the show, our guests, we encourage them to drop the link to their organization or events that they have coming up in the chat of this video.
On
So
Facebook.
we have a lot of, because it is 9 in the morning, we like Rosie said, we started this in March of 2020 just to be able to stay connected, and 9 o'clock on Monday morning seemed like a smart idea.
well, I have to be honest with you. 9 o'clock, my day is already half done. I'm up early, so I don't know. When do you catch people?
No, well, what I was going to say is that a lot of viewers will come later on during the day, to watch it
and
when
pick up
they
the
have a
links
break.
that they comment.
So definitely drop all of those links in there. And
yeah, Valerie did. We were walking very briefly. Remember, we had a little walking thing. I run now. I do marathons now.
Well,
Because of
congratulations.
you. I am, and
awesome.
I'm the 5K a day lady.
That's
I
really
told
a
Russ.
coincidence, Greta, because I don't run marathons because of her. Are you a marathon man, Stu?
No, I gave that up when I had my hips replaced. So that'll give you some age. But yeah, when I was on active duty, I prided myself on my 10K speed was pretty good. So
good. Yeah, mine's still low because I'm just new, and I've only run in veteran races. I've run in 3 big veteran races. I just did one last month. So
yeah, I saw you had a post with our friends Chris Baez and Dr. Mikkel Baez, who give actually a class at the Entrepreneur Collaborative Centers.
They've been, and I'm a client of theirs too.
Yeah.
So
and we have too. Jeremy and I lost a lot of weight last Christmas time with them. But anyway, they do a workshop on fitness and nutrition specifically for entrepreneurs. It's pretty interesting. So check that out.
Okay.
Hey, Stu, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about the history of FABOB and why it was formed? Because it is not everybody understands the reason why there's a veteran-owned business type chamber.
Right, exactly. Thanks, Valerie. And I do want to follow up with a couple of things that Greta said also. I've actually run several small businesses. So I think that that's one of the advantages to FABOB. We've been around for 11 years now, believe it or not. I took the CEO role in April of 22. Until then, I kind of joked half-heartedly that we had 1 year of experience repeated 9 times. Right. So we would get together in Orlando and then in 2019 in Space Coast. And we did a great job of just getting together and kind of mimicking the Veterans Beer Club. Right. It was always an evening event. We'd sit around and have a social and exchange business. But then all of a sudden we realized, gosh, we're really good at this. So in 2020, yes, that 2020, there were 63 of us on the Space Coast who exchanged $1 million in documented contractual revenue with each other. And so we're not like a BNI group where you come and you have to, give your submission or whatever the case may be. And we're not like a chamber because we're not hyper local. And this whole microcosm, Greta, like you're saying, young business professionals, this whole smaller group of people focused on a thing, right, is the way to go. And Greta, I joked with my son before he went in the Army. I said, listen, you're never going to call China for a plumber, right? Or an electrician or a house painter. And it's not just that, it's just not the service market. it's, the folks who are doing state contracting, right, with a product or service that they have, or federal contracting with a product or service that they have, that are making a big difference. And I think, Valerie, to answer your question at the bottom line, and I can give you all the glowing vision, mission, and value proposition stuff, but at the end of the day, FABOB is about creating economic prosperity and having those businesses thrive. And again, we're very good at that. Very prideful that I was just kind of thinking back to 2023 and what we've accomplished in FABOB. So we have been recognized by the SBA as the North Florida and the entire state of Florida Community Business Partner of the Year. And that recognition then led to an opportunity for me to sit on the National SBA Advisory Council for Small Business Affairs. So I just had that meeting in DC where you get this, kind of humbling to sit down with the SBA administrator, who's a presidential cabinet member, and talk about the opportunities for businesses. The challenge that we have in the state of Florida, and these are some pretty compelling numbers. So the 2012 data that led to the 2017 census, which is actually not a survey, it is a census because there's a survey involved in it, identified 185,756 veteran-owned businesses in the state of Florida. That's pretty compelling. But the SBDC is asked by the legislature every year to do the same census count. Now, they may be counting differently, right? I give them that, right? But in 2022, they only identified 143,336 veteran-owned businesses, which is still a significant number. But if you go back, so there's a delta there. So we have one of the biggest challenges FABOB faces and is helping you all with is, where are these veteran-owned businesses? I went to the Osceola County School Board over here in Central Florida, and there were 5 of the biggest contractors in the state of Florida. They were up on a panel and they were talking. And my question to them is, what one thing, if solved, would make it easier for you to do business with a veteran-owned business? Because that was the nature of the conference. And without exception, all 5 of them, and granted, they could just be throwing it out there because it's an easy thing to say. But I asked them what thing could be solved, and they said, we just can't find them. We can't find the plumbers and the carpenters and the masons and so on and so forth. So we've got to do a better job on the FABOB side of having an opportunity for us either through all the list, right? Because that's one of the other big problems. It's not one list, there's a whole bunch of lists of veteran-owned businesses. If you're a consumer, it's challenging. If you're a business, it's challenging. If you're a supplier diversity buyer, it's challenging to find veteran-owned businesses. So, Valerie, that's one of the big things in 2024 that we are going to work on, and that is the creation of a statewide Florida veteran-owned business marketplace where we can find each other, right, and do business with each other. And the other thing I think real quick that's different is, and Greta, you were talking about the young professionals, we're the experienced professionals, right? And so we've been there, done that. You had mentioned about translating if you're leaving active duty or you're just starting your business. One of our members over here, Eric Wright with Vets to PM, wrote a book, How to Speak Civilian Fluently. And basically it is a translation guide on what you did in the military to what the equivalent work is in the civilian sector. So when you think about logistics and you think, oh, in the military, I was a first sergeant, or I was a staff sergeant, or I was, a lieutenant commander. And what I did is I moved materials from point A to point B. Well, you called it logistics there. We call it a supply chain out here. And so you need to be able to translate that. And then the other thing that's really neat about FABOB is you're getting to talk to people who've been there, done that. So our members, Eric Wright, again, Alexander Hall, Suzanne Short, Thomas Fighter, they were all recognized this year in the 2023 Orlando Business Journal as veterans of influence. These are all veteran business owners. And over on that side of the state, Central Florida, and on your side of the state, Sonia Montgomery and Brian Butler were selected as the 2023 Florida Trends Top 500 Business Leaders. And then we've got great FABOB members like Maxine Rees and Tony Ellsworth, who were inducted in the Florida Veterans Hall of Fame. This recognition doesn't come from somebody just starting a business, to somebody just starting a business. It comes to somebody who's got an experienced business and they're willing to share with you. So Valerie, thanks for the opportunity, because I think that's what FABOB's competitive advantages and differential is, we've been there, done that. Right. And one more compelling thing, or a couple pieces of data I want people to be aware of, that census that I referred to, in the survey part of it, they asked veteran-owned businesses, and this is nationwide, what percentage of those businesses, their business was their primary source of income? You guys want to take a guess? What percentage of veteran-owned businesses say their business is their primary source of income?
3%.
Yeah, it's low, I'm sure.
Yeah. So 59% of them said it wasn't. So 41% of them said it was, right? So that's greater than half. Percentage of businesses making less than $25,000?
A lot.
56. 56% of all businesses making less than $25,000. So we've got a lot of work as a partnership, an ecosystem, for lack of a better word, to help veteran-owned businesses not only get started, right? Ideate, get started, come to Greta's program. Hey, this is how I learned to operate my business, right? And then how do I network with folks and create contacts and opportunities? So thanks.
Well, Stu, the good news on the Tampa coast is, we're well familiar with the plight of the side hustle businesses. Yep. They're trying so hard to make it be their primary income. And part of the problem is they don't know that the resources are out there to help them. One of the things that we've seen at Action Zone is people who have been in business for 5, 6, 10, the longest I think was Ted with 32 years, and is still not doing what they wanted to do. And they come back through the programs to figure out which pieces they were missing. Yep. We don't want to throw, just because they've been in business for 7 or 10 years doesn't mean that they are immediately thrown into an incubator or an accelerator. It's being able to provide the right resource for the right stage of that entrepreneur, and then support them to get to the next level. And that we just need to make it known that these things exist. If I had $1 for every time somebody applied for our program, and this is all the way back when I was at HCC in 2017 or whatever year it was, 16. If I had $1 for every time a veteran or military spouse said to me, I had no idea that these programs existed. It just is astounding to me that for as much as we are known locally, in Tampa and in the Space Coast and, pockets in other places around the state, it's still just we're not able to find them to tell them to your point. They don't self-identify, and they don't, proclaim to be a veteran-owned business. Even if they do self-identify as one, they don't really broadcast that. So it's making it even more difficult. So the task is to ask, right? The task is to ask. So all of our listeners, all of your listeners, Greta and Stu, as they come to watch you in the zone, when you say, well, look at the video I was in this morning. The task is to find those people and tell them about these organizations, tell them about the resources that are available, because you assume they know, because you run in the same circles, but they don't know. So make sure the task is to ask them if they know that these resources are available. And then we can start broadening the awareness, at least.
Yeah, I think that it's been the first challenge is getting veteran and military spouse-owned businesses, because all of our organizations serve them all. But getting them to self-identify as a veteran-owned business. As everybody who follows me and Rosie knows, that, through Bunker Labs, we had a national view, a national access to veteran and military spouse and entrepreneurship programs across the country, and the trends that we see in the Tampa Bay region and throughout Florida is pretty much the same across the country. Very few tech, very few government contracting, a lot of what I like to call the quality of life businesses, that folks that in networking and doing events or never knew that these resources were available. I don't want to identify as a veteran-owned business for whatever their reasons are. And back in 2016, Stu, I don't even know if you even know this, but I tried to launch the Tampa chapter of FAVOB here. Because just like I said at our holiday, joint holiday party that we had with FAVOB and Bunker Labs last week in Project Transition USA, is that there's strength in numbers. And, you know, while you may not always go to veteran-owned business networking events, becoming a member of FAVOB, showing that strength in numbers, or that there are, you know, 180, whatever. I don't remember numbers. So whatever Stu said, you know, that they're out there. And I get questioned all the time, like, why is it important? You know, why is your mission important? And I'm like, it's not only my mission, it's my purpose in life, because this country was built on the backs of entrepreneurs. After World War II, the statistics are nearly 50% of those that left service started their own business. Today, and Stu, you probably can have get the exact number through SBA, but it's less than 4%, probably hovering around 3.5%. But veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs and small business owners have an inherent love for God and country. Most of their businesses have some sort of social impact component to their business. And, you know, those are the small businesses that we want to accelerate in our communities, you know, because I actually was talking to a gentleman last week, a veteran, and he said it is the small business owners that are going to take America back. You know?
Totally agree with that.
Yeah, 100%. And I was like, I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
And I hope he's watching, because I just did. Yeah, I just think that this is really important. And like I said, I tried to launch this in 2016, got approval from corporate, if you will, out of Orlando. Unfortunately, my father passed away during my efforts, and there was nobody else that was, this is before Rosie even, you know, we were a battle team in the Tampa Bay area, and I didn't have anybody that would that wanted to champion it when I had to step away. So anyway, so happy that FAVOB is expanding, and, you know, in Tampa, and we have, you know, collaborative relationships with them, and St. Pete College is coming on board. Like, this is exciting.
So Greta, I got your link. I'll post the link in the Action Zone page for this video. Your class, you said, starts on January 16th?
Yeah, that Tuesday. So the first week of, yeah, that's why I'm recruiting now. There'll be some social media ads coming out too. Yeah, the 16th will be the first class. So
Awesome.
if
And
they can
that's
fill out the
on-site
survey.
in St. Pete, correct?
It is downtown St. Pete, Second and Second
Awesome.
Avenue and 2nd Street North. There's a college. We have a location there. There's Raymond James Theater is there. The American Stage Theater is there. You can't miss it. It's right there in the heart of St. Pete. We have access to it. There's 2 incubators within walking distance. So going back to what Stu said, you're inspiring me now. I talk to these people every once in a while, but I'm hitting it hard. I'm hitting the chamber. They're going to have a veterans group. The chamber just has to make their numbers. I understand that, but it's so expensive. And that sometimes, like, going back to veterans wanting to self-identify, I think they think that becoming a minority-owned business or a veteran-owned business is hard. And we got to get rid of that. We've got to dispel that, because they can, if they're not quite ready to do that part, they can tell people they're veteran owned. And that's going to be a big part. I'm glad you guys mentioned that, because I'm going to really stress that, because people still will hire a veteran-owned business over a non-veteran-owned business every time. And we need to stress that. So especially in downtown St. Pete, or even if it's tech or a barbershop, whatever it is, I'm hoping I get a bunch. We're at St. Pete College, I could have a 15-year-old student in one of my classes and a 70-year-old student. I have the whole gambit in my business classes. There's
Oh my goodness,
no bounds.
I know this past cohort, we had, what was the oldest? I'll let Rosie tell the oldest. It was a married couple.
They're over 80. They're octogenarians, and they are, isn't that cool? And they are, and you know, you guys do, and Greta may not know, but I did some work for AARP at Work for Yourself at 50 plus, teaching entrepreneurship to the seniors that are looking for their encore career, you know, the thing that they're going to do next. And it just never ceases to surprise me that, well, of course, I'm part of that group, so I guess it shouldn't surprise me. I mean, that's my tribe.
Yeah, well, in the same cohort, we had, people in their 20s, some that were still serving and getting ready to retire. Yeah. Before we continue, I want to say good morning to Greg. Greg Bricknell is also an Action Zone alumni. He's down in South Florida area. And
I think he's in Orlando
Donnell
now,
from Veterans
Valerie.
Burn America. Actually, Donnell, you can't tell, but I've got your shirt on. But I had to put layers on, so I'm sitting outside in the wind. From the DC area, and our very own Vanessa Thomas. Say good morning.
Yay!
Hi,
morning.
Vanessa. Vanessa is the director of Veteran Women's programs at the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs. So that's awesome. So Greta's got her cohort starting in January. We'll drop the link in the comments. Stu, I know you probably can't tell what every chapter is doing across the state, but what's the next big event for FAVOB?
Sure, yeah. So the easiest thing for everybody to do is just link in with us. So follow us on LinkedIn, because all of our events are published there. It's also on favob.net. Our events are there. And Greta, here's my offer to you. So instead of barking up the tree of a chamber, and you talked about the investment that you need to make with the chamber. Please hear me. I'm not disparaging chambers. I've been chamber member for a long time. We have chambers who are FAVOB members, right? Because we partner with them. But if you're in FAVOB, the unbelievably, incredibly huge, almost insurmountable investment of $15.75 a month for FAVOB membership, right? If you take the membership due for a business membership and divide it by 12, that's what it comes out to.
Okay.
So basically, a breakfast a month to invest in your business.
What do you mean? It's 1 cup of Starbucks coffee.
I know, how about it? Yeah.
Anymore, that's true.
Panera. When I go to
Yeah.
Panera the other day, I had a cookie and a drink, and it was $12.99. So.
Yeah, so I'm showing my age. But Greta, here's my offer to you.
Okay.
If you want to have a veteran networking group there at your college, when you have your cohort, let's talk and make them the first St. Petersburg, right, marketplace for veteran-owned businesses.
Wow.
And the difference is we're veterans supporting veterans. And again, chambers do a good job, but why create a group within a chamber when we've got a group?
Love
right?
it. I love it. Oh,
So
that's awesome.
favob.net, LinkedIn, Facebook, we also have a good social media presence. And if you give me your email, I'll send you our newsletter. We call it Mail Call.
Okay.
Next big events are in January on the 9th. Doc Wright is going to be presenting. He's the one that wrote the book, Speak Civilian Fluently. He's our keynote speaker at our State of the Mission, and we'll do that again in Tampa in August. And so we've got a full calendar. This is actually the second year only we've had a full calendar. Got something going on all the time. So
That's great.
link in with us, follow us on social, and figure out what's going on and what works for you for that incredible investment of $15 a month.
Yep. And then Action Zone has 2 things starting at the beginning of 2024. Our first virtual cohort for 2024. So anywhere in the state, and this is Action Zone sponsored. So military spouses and veterans are welcome to apply. It's an 8-week course. It's all online on Saturday mornings. And then Incubate, which is the next level. You're generating a little bit of revenue, or you're just close to it, enough to it that this will help you. February, and that is on site in Ybor. So and Valerie and Jeremy lead that. They do a great job. Not that Russ and I are shabby in our Activate activities,
but they're very different programs. They're very different program. You've already been through Activate, or you don't necessarily have to be a alumni of Activate. We strongly recommend you do that before Incubate, but not necessary. But you do have to be generating revenue. That's kind of the crutch, and it's super competitive. We're Action Zone Activate, we can take up to 30 plus cohort members. Incubate is 6 to 8 companies, and we will only take 8 companies if we have 8 strong companies. It is very, very tactical. It's very intentional, which makes it very competitive. Yeah. Vanessa said, Oh, Donnell said, love my my Florida family. We love you too. And Vanessa said, let me know how I can help. And we have a lunch date with Vanessa coming up. We got to schedule that, so we can't wait. We're gonna put you to work, Vanessa.
I suspect she's going to put us to work.
True that.
And that's okay. That's okay.
That's right. We're not afraid of work. And we always want to share what's going on at the Entrepreneur Collaborative Center, our where our office is and our great partners over there. Today at noon, they have a digital marketing class. Wednesday, they have for 1 Million Cups networking and ugly sweater day. Also Toastmasters. So that's at the last Cigar City Toastmasters before next year. The World Trade Center what is that? Oh, there's a networking event for that. And yeah, that's it.
You know, what's really funny for me to watch you read those is that when you and I first met in 2016, you didn't have to do this to see something on the computer. And now you do. I'm so glad you caught up, girl. I'm so glad you caught up.
I had my golden birthday this year. I'm going to be 51 in January. So I need to get my eyes rechecked, I think.
Mine went at 48. Like when I was turned 48, I woke up the next day and couldn't see anything.
So we actually went longer than we have in a very, very long time for In the Zone. And I know like a lot of our conversations were geared towards the Tampa Bay region because Greta with St. Pete College and Stu with, with Faye Bob having a presence here. But the intent of today's show was to highlight all of the Veteran Florida partners across the state because, and I've said this many times, it is my goal to make Florida the most veteran and military spouse friendly state in the country. We all love our Sunshine State, and there's just so many opportunities here for small businesses. And look at this team. We're all here to help.
Way to go. Stu, Greta, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Today.
Great to meet you, Stu.
You are welcome to come back anytime you want to just hang out and talk, because you can see we have a good time. If there's something you want to promote, just drop us a note. Tell us you want to come on Monday mornings at 9 o'clock, because 2024 is not going to stop in the zone.
And it's not just you. Any of your founders, any of your businesses that you think would add value, and they will gain value from being on the show, send them over.
Okay.
All right. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays to everybody.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.